Hey guys, I am going to do a little demonstration here on my club setup for the upcoming Sunshine tournament, and maybe just give you some tips and some overview of what to look forward to. So basically, let's take a look at my club setup. Right now I'm using Apocalypse, Hammerhead, Tsunami, the Claw, Endbringer, Nirvana, and Spitfire. So for the driver, it's a no-brainer. That's the best driver I have going for me. It's almost never switching from that driver. With this one, you have a couple options. So I have Hammerhead, but if you look at Sniper, some of the guys are using that. So my Hammerhead is better than a Sniper 9, for sure. I mean, the only thing that really the Sniper has advantage in ball trail. That's really about it. I mean, the accuracy is almost identical. Backspin's just a tiny bit more, curl tiny bit more, but that's arbitrary almost. You almost never need full backspin, and 8 points of curl is minimal. That really doesn't even help. I mean, you could just shank it a little extra if you wanted to get a little extra curl, so that's kind of moot. But a lot of guys are using that Sniper, especially for the ball trail on the par 3s for the tiebreaker. My other option would be Cataclysm. Now, once my Cataclysm's up to a 6, I'm going to probably switch over to it permanently here. But for the short time being, until I get those 9 cards, I'm going to use this Hammerhead for this demonstration. You see the numbers are very similar. I have a little bit more topspin, which means the yards might only be, 3 or 4 yards difference, like on a full topspin shot if I really need to. But, topspin doesn't mean anything if you need to carry a 180. Like, I won't be able to carry a 180. So that's just a minor disadvantage. But the accuracy is just bar none. It's basically like Sniper's accuracy with almost near bar guide. So I'm going to use that. Yes, a lot of guys use this Goliath here. If you could see my Tsunami, it's almost identical, except just way better in almost every aspect. Even if my Goliath was maxed out, I'd still have more topspin, backspin, curl. The only thing I'd be missing is ball guide and accuracy. But, I kind of understand how this Tsunami plays by now. So, I really don't need the ball guide too much. It's not a big deal to me. Of course, if I was, wanting to hole out. But on Tour 11, we're not really talking about a lot of hole outs that you're going to be making with Tsunami or Goliath or whatever. It's just about, hitting a good shot that's going to get you to that par 3 for the most part. The winds are just stupid high. It's really hard. Like, if you were going to do Tour 6, I could see where it could be a little bit more arguable, but these greens are really undulated. They're going to take weird hops on you. You're going to see that a lot on this course. So the way I'm going to go at it is with Tsunami. Short irons, some guys are using this Claw. It's almost identical. Claw or Hornet here. I'm going to use Claw. One of the main reasons that I'm going to use Claw is that extra backspin option. There's certain times that I get there and need that full backspin shot, and 36 just isn't going to cut it on this tour. You get a couple extra yards, definitely more accuracy, but I want to 100% of the time hit a perfect ball when I'm on a short iron like this anyway. So I basically treat all clubs like the accuracy is 100, because if you hit it perfect, it's going to go right where you want it to. I'm not too worried about it being less ball guide here. So I know basically, I get the gist of how it's going to play. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Endbringer, it's no discussion. Some guys are using Rapier. You can see the stats are pretty similar. You get more topspin, backspin options. I don't really use spin too much on my wedge. I'd rather have the ball guide. I'd rather have the power. I'd rather have the accuracy. But of course, Rapier's solid club too. There's a lot of guys using it. They just don't have, Endbringer 6s. So the reason I have so many Endbringers, I just got, when I won my last tournament, I got 200 Endbringers in one package. So that was pretty sweet. And I'm using Nirvana. Some guys are going to use Amazon. You see this little breakdown here? One of the biggest reasons I'm not using it is for ball guide. If you're going to use Amazon, you can. It's going to get you out of a lot of trouble because it has so much power and so much topspin. It's going to get you out of a ton of trouble. But if you are using it, you want to make sure you're never in the rough around the green, because you can probably hole out and still make your pitch with the Nirvana. Amazon's going to be a lot trickier. So, and this tour has 2 or 3 holes that are, tight greens to where you can easily be in the rough. Like I've been there plenty. Needed to hold out to, force the playoff, and I'm able to do that with Nirvana. So that's the reason that I'm going to play that one. Sand wedge, I'm going to go with, Spitfire. The biggest thing is the power. For this tour, you want power. There's just no arguing that. Like, that's the most important attribute, is that power attribute. So, not a lot of options here other than Sahara. But if you have a Spitfire, anything, 2 or above, that's the way to go. You'll see some guys using Malibu or something, and they just can't get out of the trouble like Spitfire can, because you put it in the bunker, you need to get it to the green. Hopefully I can still get it there with Spitfire. Hardly can ever say that about Malibu. If you put it in trouble, you're probably not getting it there. But some guys are using it for that extra accuracy and, ball guide. So what else is there to look at? Next thing we can look at is, the balls. You're going to want to stick to either Titan here, which is this one, for that extra power. You don't want to put yourself at a disadvantage on this. This is a very long course. So it's either, for me, it's going to be either Kingmaker or it's going to be Titans. Pretty much every time, no matter what. If I need that extra wind boost, I'm going to use this. And the reason I have so many of these, I've never purchased a single one of these. These balls are just ridiculously expensive. So I've never bought any of these. But so for my last tournament, I was able to get from this UK tournament, when you win on Expert, it gives you 500 balls. Now, they cut that down in this one. It's only going to be 300 balls in this new upcoming. So that's a little disappointing. But, so with that, it was like, 500 balls. Here was another 250, 250. I've just been getting balls galore, and I don't use those much. I mean, I almost keep them, exclusive to Tour 11 for the most part. I'll use some on occasion, but I've probably only used maybe like 100 total out of my entire bank of, from getting prize chests and all that. I don't use too many of those balls. I'd prefer to buy, so the Titans, it has the same power and, significantly cheaper. These are very affordable balls. It's not really that much to, spring for them. And you really want to be using either one of those balls for sure. So let's look at the layout here real quick. We have 4 different setups now. They're going to have the rookie tour, and you can see kind of what's going on with that. the Pro, and the one that I've been doing is Expert here. And you can see they've cut down. These used to be, so if you look at the prize chest, they're all Tour 9, which that's going to be able to give you the flexibility to get all the club cards. So that's one of the biggest reasons that I play Expert. I'll still be able to, hopefully if I get lucky, draw Apocalypse or Cataclysm or whatever. All those Tour 7 clubs are still included. Now if I was to play down here on Pro, it maxes out a Tour 6 chest. So that means the best clubs you could be hoping for in that category would be like Endbringer, Thor's Hammer, or Amazon, stuff like that. Stuff that's still really good. You still want those, but you can see there the prizes are cut way down. It's only 80 of those cards. This is almost double. It used to be 200. So when I just won, I was getting 200 plus the divisional bonus of 200. I was getting 400 cards. So now if I was to do this, it'd be cut down to 300 cards. So I'm definitely tomorrow going to go for this Master. And, winning would give 500 rare cards. Those epic cards, and 500 rare, both. And you see the Tour chests are the Tour 12, which it acts exactly like a Tour 9. So anything above a 7 is basically going to act the same. It just might give you more cards. The biggest thing I'm interested in is if you see those balls, they have purple bands. It's the only tour that has that purple band ball. So I'm thinking that there's a new ball that you can only win in Master that's going to have extra attributes. So if we were to look at the balls again, this doesn't have that purple band. I'm assuming there's going to be, you see how it's win 3, side spin 3, power 3. I'm assuming there's going to be a 4th tier. And either, I don't think they can put any more side spin on the ball because it's kind of at max. So I'm assuming it's going to be, maybe a win 45-50% boost, which would be really helpful for Tour 11. Or a power 4 option, which would add, an extra 10, 15, 20 yards. That'd be pretty cool too. So, but the only way it seems to be able to get a hold of those balls is going to be from the from that Master Tour, and that's definitely the one I'm going to enter. It's 10 million to enter. Not really worried about, I could lose all those games, fees per game, million. Really not a big deal to me. But the biggest thing, the reason that I would choose to do this one, the prizes. I guess the drawback is you have to be at Master level to enter this. So if you're not a Master enter, you're gonna have to do Expert or Pro or whatever. But you see the prizes, they significantly drop the farther and farther down. I highly recommend doing either Pro or Expert no matter what, not even toying with Rookie, because you just can't win anything. It's just not like Tour 3 chests. Those cards aren't helping you. So I would step it up to Pro, use your Kingmakers if you have to. If you have some of those, get every advantage you can. Take advantage of Titan. You're going to want just Titan balls. Make sure every hole you shoot Titans. Tomorrow I am going to post my rounds, probably hole by hole, so you can just see. I have never played any of the new holes. So, and I think the tournament layout had 4 new ones. Either 4 or 5 on that new course, and I've yet to see a single one, so it'll be my first attempt, and so I'll try my best to give you good tips, but it might take some learning to figure out what's going on before I can fully understand and explain the situations. But yeah, so look for my video tomorrow, and I'm gonna just go ahead and cut this one off for now. And tomorrow I will be definitely putting that. I'm gonna do a hole or two here, just as kind of like a supplement video to this. So I'm about to play a hole or two and post that one as well. But hopefully these tips, get you geared up and get you on the right track to setting up your bag right and playing a good round. So